drum and the...
Yeah.
I don't know what's with the music still going. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's because my phone or your phone has
music still going
sound. I think it's your
It was.
sound.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just trying to figure out what the fuck did I do? Nothing. I'm okay. I'm a good girl. I did okay. You're the bad girl. You're the naughty one.
I am.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry for the technical issues. We were late today, but we got the technical stuff fixed, so it looks like we'll be okay. Knock on my head or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Because I think my head is made of wood, and I just want to be a real girl. I just keep waiting. When can I be a real girl? Because apparently I didn't rate that. I missed that boat when God was passing out. Because I'm nuts. I'm crazy, and I know it.
Me too. But I'm proud.
I mean, I'm proud of being kind of nuts, but I mean,
I am too.
I'm the better of the crazies. Because I admit that I'm fucking nuts.
For real, like I'm safe crazy.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'll just tell you point blank.
I'm cuckoo, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs or something. I am.
It's okay.
I've told Steve. I asked him the other day. I said, "Have you ever watched our in the house cameras when you're out of town?" And he's like, "Oh, I've pulled them up a couple times." I'm like, "Oh, so you see the mess I have to clean up before you get home in the kitchen, so that because I hate the kitchen, I hate cleaning it."
Yes.
So if I know he's going to be home tonight I would clean the kitchen. For the whole week he was gone. And it's so much easier if you just do it after each meal. It's so much faster, but fuck it, I'll do it later.
Like, why though?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh shit, he'll be here tomorrow. But guess I better do the dishes. At least I'm honest about it, because I don't hide it from. I don't go turn the cameras off while he's gone or nothing. And I'm like, but you should turn those cameras on once in a while and just watch. I said it's probably pretty fucking entertaining because I walk around here talking to myself. I walk here going, what the fuck did you even walk into this room for? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. And I'm literally having a conversation with myself about how I forgot what I was going in the room for. And then I'll walk in another room and go, oh yeah, I know what and I'll go to and I'm like,
Same.
if anyone just watched.
Same.
I mean, it wouldn't be 24 hours of entertainment,
No.
but it would be a lot of
entertainment. But you could catch some usable content.
Yeah, it would be like, what the fuck is she? She's so have you ever seen that little video that pops up of the duck caught on camera at night in the outdoor, I guess it's an outdoor dining setting for some restaurant, and this white duck comes in and it's little pitter patter feet, and he just is running back. I said, that's me running around my house looking for my glasses, looking for my phone, looking for where did I put
gosh.
I mean, I'm so bad that one day I was like, well, where the fuck are my keys? I went all over the place looking for my keys because I was going somewhere. I went in my bedroom. I went in here. We have a key hanger. Went to there. 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 I'm like, where the fuck? Oh, I keep my keys in my purse all the time because my car doesn't need you to plug them in. I just get in the car with my purse and turn the button on. And I was hunting for my keys that were still, and I have like a little clip inside my purse, and they're still hanging from the little clip in my purse. Did I ever check that? Nah. Why do that? Because that would be like make sense.
Logic.
And I was running late. I was on time. I mean, like fully on time. Would have been early to where I was going. And ended up late once again because I'm looking for something I didn't even need to.
Yeah, I know. Same. I live the same life, just in a different house.
We have determined that in this matrix that we live in, that when they designed our characters, they were like, well, they're fine because her character's in Southern California and her character is over here, so they won't ever run into each other to say, wait a minute, this matrix we're living in.
That's San Andreas fault line.
Yeah, why are we the same people? Like, it's weird. It's weird. And in a good weird way, because I have ran into other people that were a lot like me and we did not get along at all. I wanted to punch them in the face. Totally. Like, I felt everything they were doing was mocking me.
Yes.
Or that they had to one up me.
Yes.
Like, I don't like the one up me's. I try not to do that. And I tell my friends, like, if you feel or you think if you catch me where I'm trying to add to the conversation, but I do not try to one up people.
Right.
Because in the world of things, reality is, if I were to try to do that, I could one up everybody on pretty much everything. So I try not to because the life I grew up, you know?
Exactly.
I mean,
right.
My parents were diplomats and my dad was a race car driver. I've met tons of people, celebrities, dignitaries, so I could always probably win on the one-up.
Absolutely.
So I try not to do that because I'm not playing on a fair ground and I'm not bragging. You know,
it just is what it is.
And people think, oh, she's such a bragger. No. Oh, you know, blah. And I'm not bragging. It's my life. I can't control how I grew up.
Exactly.
Any more than I can control how the other person grows up. But at the same time, like, people see, oh, she got this, or she did this, or she did that, or blah, blah, blah. She's so full of shit, whatever. You didn't live the negative part of that life. You only hear the good things because I don't really talk about the bad things. I don't like them.
and you know, and I think too, it's kind of it's a relational thing. Like, I tell people things because I'm like, yeah, I can totally relate to that, or I've experienced that. But on the same token, like, if you're talking about something that's completely foreign to me, because there are subjects in my life that are foreign to me, so I'm not going to speak on it, or I'm not going to try to pull from every story or situation I've ever been through. Let me see what I can do to conjure that one up. It's okay if I can't relate to you on whatever level.
But I can talk to you about it.
But yeah, I can absolutely listen.
I'm easy to sit there and be like, if I don't know the subject, I have been in the past where someone has said, God, you're such a know-it-all. And I'm like, no, I speak on the things I know.
Same. Yes.
But if I don't know anything about the subject or topic, I don't say a fucking thing. Exactly. I might ask you questions, but I'm not going to tell you what's what because I don't know shit about it.
I don't know.
You know, I'm not gonna jump in there. But there's also the fact that I know a lot of shit. And a lot of it's absolutely useless information. I mean, absolutely useless information. Like,
I have a total Jeopardy. The part of my brain.
The origin of P's and Q's. Most people don't know that. Donna goes, we were talking about this the other night, and she goes, don't tell me you actually know the answer to that. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And she's like, you better say it, because if I say it, I'm not going to believe you. Because she's like, it was a trivia question years and years ago, and I was the only one that knew the answer. I'm like, well, P's and Q's were back in the day in the probably 1700s or 1400s, and they had the barmaids, and the men would come in all crazy and whatnot, and they would pour their beers, and they would tell them to mind their pints and quarts, and that meant to keep your shit together and don't spill your fucking beer everywhere, because I got to clean up after your sorry ass. And I said, many people equate that to grammar now. Your etiquette. No, it's about not being a sloshy drunk in a bar. That's what that means.
Yep.
And she's like, no fucking way you knew that. She's like, you're right. You've told me many times you just have a bunch of useless information in your head. I'm like, I do. I have, because I retain like everything. You know, I had a photographic, I don't count it now because I don't remember shit anymore. But when I was growing up, I had a photo, and it's not called a photographic memory. for clarification, it's called an eidetic memory. If anybody's ever watched Big Bang Theory, Sheldon told us that.
Oh.
It's called an eidetic memory. It's when you can recall things. And like when I would go to school and I would take a test or whatever, I could literally close my eyes and see the book. I could see the book, I could read it, and I could pull my answers. So I never failed. I had got 100% on everything I've ever taken a test on. And I just got it. It's not my fault.
Right. Right.
I'm not as good as apparently my grandfather could tell you the page number, the paragraph number, and I probably could have if I focused on it harder, but I never got that detailed. But he could tell you, oh, that's on page 4, paragraph 7, word 4, and you'd be like, and like that fast.
Wow. That's like savant type.
Yeah. But I never got to meet my grandfather, so I got his one trait, even though I never got to meet him. So I think that's fair.
Right.
I never got to know him. He was a John Wayne type of guy, from what my mom has said. My uncle,
Wow.
he was a John Wayne kind of guy, and he was a very big, tall man, very big man. And my mom said, now granted, she was probably younger, but she's like, his hand was like the size of a baseball glove.
Wow.
Like he was a huge man, and he owned gold mines and silver mines.
Okay. Oh, that's crazy.
So he was into mining.
Logan's grandfather was the same. He owned gold mines in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
There's still one in the family that's like
they
divided up in between, but it's not a working mine. It's a flooded mine.
Yeah.
But
this was back in Nevada and California. Yeah.
Okay.
So back in
close
back in
to
the day.
Elko.
Well, yeah, it was. And Winnemucca. I mean, he owned more than one.
Okay.
But because our family founded Nevada.
Wow.
So
That's super cool.
we got some books, and
That's
my
cool.
great uncle that I actually got to spend time with, Uncle Irv. I have his pin still, and it said the oldest living pioneer of Nevada, and and he
cool.
was still herding cattle at 95 years old. Yeah, still little tiny short man, bow-legged, bow out. I mean, like his legs were like pretty much round. Like he rode a horse his entire life.
How cool!
And he was on a ostomy bag and still rode the fucking horses and herded his cattle at 95 years old with an ostomy bag. It didn't fucking matter. The cat. He would say to you like things like the cattle still need to go. And I was really young, I was going to go out and work with him because I loved horses and I liked to ride and all that. And I didn't have boots with me, of course. So I had tennis shoes, and he comes and he goes, yeah, you can't wear those out there. And I was young. So he comes in, he brings me a box. He's like, here, you can wear these shit kickers. Because that's what he called the boots, shit kickers. And they were delivered to him on the Pony Express.
Oh my god!
the sticker and all the stuff, the receipt and all that stuff was still attached to the box. It was pretty cool. Like when we cleaned out their house, like all the things from the 20s with the little purses and the danglies and the shoes and all the historic stuff. There was a lot in that house. It was really cool. They had a 1963 Corvair that had 7,800 miles on it.
Oh my gosh.
Because when they bought it, it stored in the barn. And when they bought it, it was only her go to church, go to the store once a week. Oh my gosh. And it was no matter what, that's the only time you got to be in the car.
That is wild.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
So question, when your family founded Nevada, did they ever in their wildest imagination think that a Trump truck or a Tesla truck would be blown up in front of Trump Towers?
Yeah,
in Nevada.
I think from the time that we had that shooting in Vegas at the concert, that was horrific.
Yes.
And now today, so by the way, people, I'm Tori.
Oh,
This is our show.
I'm
Girl
Kimberly.
Talks. Normally we want to talk about, but I think this is a good way to talk about still mental health and problems because people are going to have mental issues because of this, PTSD, whatever. But what's currently going on in our nation, and I asked some questions, and unfortunately, I can't see the questions on my on my thing, so I'm gonna pull it up really quick, because it'll tell me on my thing what I said. I think. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, in the description.
Do you see it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Today, let's talk about TauX because we're going to talk about it. Current events because it can't be avoided. Are there sleeper cells? Are these red flag events? Are there more to come? Is this to disrupt the peaceful transition of power in 17 days? Are you scared? Are you staying in? Are you going out? So, I have a lot of questions myself, seeing and reading and hearing and listening. I haven't commented, but I've been kind of observing and listening to the things going on. I think it's great, honestly, that Elon Musk is helping them by getting in and getting the information from it. But when you have a fully autonomous vehicle that technically could be hacked and remote controlled, like a remote control car, why can't you kill the guy, have the bomb in it, lock the doors, force him, and he's already dead. He can't say he was forced into the vehicle. He can't say anything. They're just going to say, and I have those questions like, he is completely gone, but his ID and passport were perfect. They're not perfect. They're burnt. Where were they? And that could be part of it. Where were they? Were they in a locked compartment and they got burnt somewhat, but because they were in the compartment, they're not fully burnt? Were they sitting on his fucking lap when they opened the door? I mean, like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Okay, and those are all very valid points. However, when you go back to 9/11,
There's a lot
and
of questions.
remember that their IDs / passports /
survived.
yes,
And you got to wonder
and
about
these
those
are
things.
extremely obvious things to. I guess I see. I feel like it's obvious to everybody because those are just simple logic. But then on the other hand, I think, well, no, because maybe it's not. But
I mean, there was a picture of them where they did look burned.
Yeah.
And identifiable. And plastic does burn different than skin, and it does.
Right.
Because you go into a house fire that's a legit house fire, and the stuff that you find that's not
intact,
burnt, that's
I know.
intact, is weird.
Usually, I
Like
know.
it can be under a completely burned up bookcase, and then there's a book that's not
true.
burnt.
That's
And it's
true.
because fire doesn't work in a specific manner. If it's not liking that chemical,
exactly.
whatever it is, it might singe it and go on.
Yes.
Because fire burns itself out. So as it's burning out, it's like, oh, this pen is too much. I'm just going to move on to this paper. And, so you got to wonder. And the problem is our government and people in authority, people in power have proved to us enough times that we can't trust them, that we can't
Correct.
trust their analysis, that we
Correct.
can't trust their results.
Correct.
Because they've kept stuff from us too many times to where I don't know that I would fully trust a fire inspector that went in there and said, well, that ID was made of a specific type of material because it's not laminated like a laminated card, but this wouldn't burn the same way that something else
As
would
that
burn.
piece of paper
And if
would,
these
right.
were in the car with it shut, sure, it could be singed and melted, and it depends. Were they in the glove box? Were they in the center console? where were they specifically? I mean, I find it a lot more difficult to believe if they were just sitting on his lap
on the console or
on the console in a
like,
bag next to
yes.
the. But if they were like put in it, if they were in a suitcase inside, you know, maybe he was not planning to kill himself at first, but then like it makes no sense. You have an automated vehicle that literally you can set the. And I don't know if it has a seat sensor that you have to be sitting in it, but you could put a brick in there, set the direction where you're going to go.
Absolutely.
Set the brick in there, open the window, and you have control because they even have, I guess, an app or something for it. So you could set the brick in there, put the power on, roll the window back up, lock the doors, and send it on its way. And not have to get in the vehicle at all.
That's completely plausible, and I'm going to tell you why. Because my 2015 vehicle has sensors in the seat, so that when I'm cruising down the road by myself, but I have a dog with me, and they hop into the front seat, my seatbelt things for the passenger seat starts dinging.
Right.
So that's like
mine do
that's
that.
an older
and I have an automatic
technology.
I have a autonomous vehicle.
Okay.
But it's not like full drivable. Like it will drive itself for a period of like 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
So it has hand sensors on the steering wheel that you and it, like it's not weighted, but it senses when your hands are there. So when I'm on a super long trip and I put it on that for a little bit, I love it for like opening peanuts or some bag
instead
of chips.
of having to use your knee.
Yeah, I don't have to use my knee.
Yeah.
I just turn that on, open what I need to open my bottle of drink or whatever, and I can just sit back and I can for like 2 to 3 minutes. But it has a sensor. Well, if I'm on a really long drive and I'm starting to get sleepy, I will put it on trying to get to the next rest stop or where I'm stopping at the hotel, and I will turn that on because it will keep me in the lane, and I just lay my hands right where I know the sensors are, and I can feel the steering wheel just move. Because as long as and it will go on. I think I had the longest I had it where I didn't move my hands. And every now and then I kind of just give a little pressure or whatever. And I had it go for like 20, 30 minutes.
Wow.
You know, so, and my car's a 2017. Okay. Like, the technology for that is way beyond what I have.
And we're talking about a Tesla vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is it a legit Tesla vehicle or is it a kit car?
No, it's a legit one because Elon Musk was able to get into it.
Identify that it really was.
Yeah. Okay. And because and that's the thing, you have to be prepared for that stuff. If, you know, I hear people all the time about, you know, they're eavesdropping on you and all. No shit.
Well, duh.
Like, if you're trying to not be eavesdropped on about anything, anywhere, you might as well move to the woods.
Yeah, for real.
Because you're not going to, there's nothing it's probably in all of the TVs, unless you have an older TV. But it's in all the software. Everything, everywhere is listening. So, and I look at it like this. Somebody goes, well, that's why I don't have one in my bedroom. I'm like, you know, if some NSA person is sitting around watching you fuck, sorry for the language.
No,
if they're watching you and your husband do bumping uglies, they got the problem, not you.
Well, you see, and like that's facts. Like Logan and I were talking about the drone thing, which we have had several conversations about, but like what I personally believe about the drones is that it's holograms. I really do. And that's not beyond any kind of unrealistic
holograms
thing. Yes.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard that theory yet, so that's an interesting theory.
Well, it's just something that popped into my brain the other day because there's something called oh, no, of course I'm going to fart. Hold on.
You're going to fart in my office? I find it rude when people fart in my office. I'm going to fart
out of my brain.
Do you remember what that's from? What movie that's from?
No.
A Few Good Men. Or no, I'm sorry. Back up. Not A Few Good Men. Why did I even think that one? No, it's from Demi Moore in Miss G.I. Jane.
Gosh, I haven't seen that movie in years and years.
Yeah,
and
when
years.
she walked in the office and then she called him out. Speak frankly, sir. It's you. And he's like, "Did you just fart in my office? Because I find it offensive when somebody farts in my office."
I remember that now. Well, it was a brain fart.
No,
so it
I didn't fart in your office. I'm sorry if I farted in your office.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the fart has passed.
I brain fart on a regular basis, so if anybody's offended, I would be farting everywhere I go. So luckily, it doesn't.
At least it doesn't stink, right?
Or make a sound.
Right.
It's just
right.
in my
It's
head. I went, "What the fuck just happened?" It's to misfire. Yeah, I live on misfire. So anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so what it's called is augmented reality.
Oh, yeah. I do believe in some of that augmented reality. And,
Well, I mean, what it is holograms that are projected out into the.
making people crazy.
Well, no, like, well, yeah, but I mean, but what it started out as, and you could, like, anybody can Google it and find videos of it being offered to the public in bits and pieces, like everything always is, that's really coming. And if you have to be cognitive and a critical thinker to take the pieces and kind of put them together, but it's like videos of killer whales floating through the air in Dubai.
Yeah.
And in there was a high school gym that they did like a halftime show in and I'm like, so, and the reason I think this is because of number one, what you just said about there's NSA agents watching satellite cameras that can literally see what number or what year is on the dime in your pocket.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that they can't zoom in on these things and investigate them from afar if they need to, if they're worried about it, if they're scared. Like, they have no answer to give. So what they're doing is they're gaslighting people,
Well,
right?
And I saw this. First of all, I think I can see where you're going with that, because I look at all of the things that have just recently been happening as so many ways that they want to have, and maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I see it as a lead up to not let Trump take office. I see it 1,000% that they're trying to make
hitting
it so much
from every
mayhem. And,
Yes.
and you think about it from the other perspective. When, and I don't care what your opinion out there is of Trump. You can dislike him. I don't care. I support you if you're my family, if you're my friends. But open your mind a little bit and, hear me out. But they threw everything they could at that man. Yeah. False lies, court, trying to have him put in jail, and it didn't work on us. Bullets, tried to have him killed. It didn't work. We didn't buy in anymore.
Right.
We stopped buying in because we're like, dude.
Right.
Like, it doesn't make any sense anymore.
Right.
You hate him so much that it doesn't matter what he does or what he chooses. He can walk out and literally heal a person that is absolutely known to be, if what was the really, really smart guy with ALS in the wheelchair?
Oh, Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking.
Yes.
If Stephen Hawking were alive, he could roll out in his wheelchair and Trump could say, here, I and my team have come up with a cure for ALS. It takes 15 minutes. Take this vial. Him take it and go like, oh my God, I can talk, and stand up. And everyone would be like, I hate you. And now I hate Now I hate Stephen Hawking. Like, it doesn't matter what it, and
Yes.
look at they're going after RFK now.
Yes.
In the same manner in which they went after Trump.
Yes.
Because they want to discredit him. You're associated with him, so we're going to discredit you. And then they're going after Elon Musk, and they're going after Vivek Ramaswamy. And I'm telling some of the conservatives that I'm in groups with, they're like, oh, I don't trust Elon and Vivek now, and I don't trust the process. Let him. He hasn't even taken office yet.
Right.
You guys are already turncoats.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yep.
let him take office. And I said, but the people you're listening to that are supposedly conservatives and in your corner that are bringing these things to our attention, how do you know they're really conservatives and they're not crazy people on the other side just trying to divide us now? And I'm like, so I trust who he's selected. I even wrote a post this morning and I was like, Elon is helping with the investigation. That does not make it bad. And him talking about robotics that could help people with disabilities and stuff, he's been talking about that for years. He's also been the one person saying we got to watch out for AI. It can be dangerous. We need to regulate things. And I'm like, and if he was so about, he's just in this to make money. I'm like, then why did he turn down a salary for Doge?
Right.
Because he was offered
Right.
one. I guarantee you they were offered one.
Of course.
And because there are no voluntary positions in the U.S. government.
No.
And at some point in time, I will bet you 1,000. I'm not going to do dollars because I don't bet money. I'll bet you 1,000 pieces of fudge to anyone out there that is going to come forward after he takes office and they take those positions, that's going to come forward that went and did the research and found the copy and found the proof that Vivek and Elon are getting paid.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that'll happen because they will get paid because the government don't have voluntary positions.
No.
So they will have to gain a paycheck of some sort and they will donate it. I guarantee you they will. Trump doesn't take a salary when he's been president.
Never
but
a
it's,
penny.
He can't not take the salary.
Right.
So
it
they
has
give
to
him
come
the salary.
to him, and
he
then
gets it and then he donates
Yep.
it. And he donates it to a federal organization, like he donated to the Forest Service. He donates to things that are, parks and recreation. He donates it to things that are that need it,
Yes.
not to the things that don't.
Yes.
Because funding and whatnot. Now, how much?
Like his own pocket, and that is such a huge difference. There is that he is one of. I mean, I don't know about past conservative presidents as far as that goes, but I think he's the first
I did look up
right?
the history of there are I think Washington or Lincoln did not take a paycheck.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly, but there was one or two.
Okay.
But it was back before they didn't even get a paycheck.
Oh, gotcha.
Like they
Right.
were allowed to take one and they just declined it.
Okay.
But it wasn't like it is today where they have to get paid and then they have to show proof that they just donated it elsewhere.
Right. Right.
So
because the accountability factor is different today than it was
Correct.
then. So that makes sense. So, but there's no other president that can stand up there and say, I don't need this $250,000 a year. So I'm just gonna go ahead.
I'm just gonna go ahead and donate it to who needs it.
Yeah.
And I mean that doesn't happen. And now you have two other individuals who are willing to do, and what they're doing is they're willing to do a cleanup, and it's 1,000% needed. Like, you've got to get rid of the contract thing of we can only buy from these contracted government approved businesses, because those businesses are like, oh, this is a government bid.
Oh, cha-ching.
That toilet
Cha-ching.
is now
Yes.
$7,000.
Yes.
That toilet lid is $380
Yes.
when you can go to Walmart and buy it for $19.99. Bullshit. And they pump up that money because it's a government fund. you know, and they're already an approved vendor. So we can only go to X vendors.
Right.
And, you know, like, I know that in the embassies, when my parents would get to a new embassy, my mom got a catalog to have her house furnished and redecorated. And the furniture was all Ethan Allen. Like, really?
I know, right? Like,
I mean,
you're literally going to use it for this long.
And if it's not, and they did have storage facilities at many of the embassies where you could go pick some things. Well, like they do with the White House, they have a storage place where you can go in and say, I want that desk and I want this. But you also can go in and have a decorator change your color scheme, change your carpeting, change all this stuff. And
that's so unnecessary.
It was a privilege. And I think it's an unnecessary privilege.
It is.
That shouldn't be. I mean, if you don't like the way it's decorated and you don't like the colors, fucking go buy your own goddamn curtains.
Yeah, that exactly. Like,
I don't
feel
think
the
that should
same
come out
way.
of government money. I don't think that should come out of our tax money.
Never.
And I grew up with that. So, I mean,
It's frivolous.
I'm the one who will argue that it shouldn't happen. And my tuition for my boarding school paid out of tax dollar money. I know that. I think it's then I shouldn't have gone to I shouldn't have been, it should have been like, this is how much you're allotted. The same as if you were okay, so privates don't get sent over. I think you have to be at least a corporal to be on embassy duty, but the amount of money you would make and be allowed to have for your kids is less than a gunny.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
So like you should be allotted. Okay, we know your kids have to go to a school. And my parents at this time, were in a communist country, so I couldn't go to school in a communist country. That fair?
Sure. I mean, yeah. That.
So you're
yes.
gonna pick a boarding school probably outside of. Because we didn't have embassy schools, okay.
Okay.
Not like a lot of bases have an American school. We didn't have that. There's not enough embassy duty children to have a school. But so you can go to a boarding school outside of your country.
Okay.
And which is what I did. Mine was in Salzburg, Austria.
Oh,
and
cool.
but it's like they could have said, here's your allotment for how much we would cover for that. And you pick a school according to this, because this is a baseline of what an average boarding school might cost or whatever. And if it exceeds that, you need to pay the difference.
Right.
Well, mine was extremely expensive. And I do get some of the security and safety parts of that too, you know, because we are embassy duty brats. So there is a protection that needs to happen.
Sure.
And the school that I went to, most of the kids there, their parents were either royalty from another country or, you know, like
Diplomats.
princes and princesses and high people in different corporations, like the daughter of the main engineer or whatever of Saab.
Oh, okay.
Went to school there.
Okay.
Quite a few of the like Egyptian royalty and Iraqi. Like there was a lot. And there was people that went to that school that I was not allowed to talk to because of what country you were from.
Gotcha.
Period. I mean, you could say hi to me and I would be like politely, I'm sorry, I can't speak to you. And they knew what countries they were from, that I couldn't talk to them because I was from America.
Gotcha.
Funny story with that one day I'll tell. Just remind me one day to tell you the story about a Iraqi.
Okay.
Because it is a great story.
Okay.
But this is not the show for that one. You know, tax money pays for that stuff. Well, what do you think tax money also pays for? It pays for these fake things to happen, to get us scared, to get us under control
and compliant.
And I think there is something to be said that this may not be the government doing this, so to speak, for the recent bombings, but I'm going to blame the government for it, even if they aren't the ones doing it. because they're the ones that let all these people in through our borders without giving a shit. And there was many people going down there that were conservatives and taking videos and interviewing people and talking to people and where they were coming from. And they were all battle-aged men.
Yes.
Like they were all battle-aged men. They were all coming from places.
And not Mexican.
And they were not Mexican.
They were not Mexican.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's a key point.
I think you saw maybe in videos out there that there's like one or two. The
tokens.
Yeah.
To make it legit. Yeah, like that's how I see it.
You'd see one Mexican in like 30 from these countries that are not, and I'm not, I have nothing against somebody who's Muslim or from another country like that. Nothing. In fact,
that's not even the,
In fact, I watched an NCIS show last night that my husband and I watched. And do you watch that show or have you? Okay.
Not.
So this particular episode is they're looking for a guy in a grocery store that is from one of those countries. Okay. He's from Afghanistan.
Okay.
And he's somebody that they want to talk to about an incident that happened. And while they're in there, the store, not a clerk, I don't think she was a clerk, but she's a store worker, you know, has an apron on, and she directs them to where McGee had to go get some chocolate chips to buy to take home to his wife. And so while they were at the store, I'll go get my chocolate chip. So she told him where they were.
Okay.
In the process of that, the guy walks up and she says, "Oh, blah, blah, blah." And it all pops off and they go running and somebody shoots at them and it's not that guy. And, well, no, I'm sorry. They didn't get shot at. Not then. But they went running, chasing him, and the guy threw something down, and Nick hit the wood. I know I'm doing way too much description, but I have to. It's just me. And he hits it. As he's falling, in the process, he hit his head.
Okay.
So they didn't catch the guy, and McGee comes over, and she's like, "Go get me this, go get me this, go get me this, go get me this." And it turns out she's a surgeon from Afghanistan. Okay. Or I think she was from Afghanistan or over in that region at least. And so she was a surgeon. And there is a point to this. I'm sorry, guys. But she's a surgeon. Mm-hmm. Now, yes, it's just a character on a show. And yes, they're doing the politically, trying to get us to think. Mm-hmm. And it does, but I even think that way, and I am a conservative. I don't think we should have open borders, but I think we should have the best of the best that come into this country. But she's working as a clerk at a grocery store. Like, I think if you are a surgeon from another country and you legitimately came here for a better life and to assimilate and be part of America, and she is a surgeon who has actually, and she's probably had to deal with some pretty horrific surgery circumstances, like rudimentary equipment, poor quality of mechanical stuff, poor lighting. She's probably an excellent surgeon. Because she has had to hone her skills in a very horrible conditions. So she would probably be an amazing surgeon. Well, he ended up having to have stitches. She took care of him enough to get him to the hospital. And then she came into the hospital or the office to check on him. She said, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't have to." She's like, "I would always come and check on my patient." And I said to Steve, I said, "See, these are the circumstances where someone like her, she should be able to go take an exam and do a surgery with a, the surgeon at a college, at a university that's a surgical university, and have him sign off that she did an excellent job, and then give her license. We need valuable people in this country, not people that are going to drive a truck into a building to catch it on fire." And I know that was a long explanation there, but I was trying to make a point that I do agree with that. Like the ones that's just come across with about Vivek and Elon talking about the immigration H1B or whatever. Yes, we need companies that will sponsor qualified, quality immigrants.
And I just want to interject real quick right here. I know I touched on it. I mean, the other day about looking into other countries to move to. Mm-hmm. And only because, like, there's a lot of other countries that just have peace among their whole nation, and that's a fact. But in our search for looking for other countries, right? So being an American, and feeling as though there should be a process to protect that nation. Mm-hmm. In allowing people to come, and they need to be making a contribution in some manner to the nation that they choose to go to.
Correct.
This is my way of thinking. So this is how I have then approached the subject of seeking other countries. And one of the first things that I'm looking at is,
what are their requirements?
Thank you.
And
guess what?
Most of them are very high.
Yes, you can't just pick up and move to. That's why I just laugh at all the people that are like, well, I'm just going to leave. Where the fuck you going to go?
Yeah.
You can't just up and leave, because guess what? Nobody else has just come on down and live here. There's requirements. Some are better. Like there's certain countries where you can get a year visa, right? Just off the jump.
Right.
But you can't just show up at the border and get that. You have to have a passport. You have to show up at a legal point of entry. You have to have a background check through your embassy.
And you've already had to submit the paperwork prior to coming.
Long time ago.
Yeah. And like some countries require you to come and show proof that you have income in your bank account that can support you for like
a long time.
Some are just 90 days.
Yeah.
Some are 6 months. Some are 3 to 10
5
years.
and 10 years. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That is no joke.
And you have to already have a sponsor, not a friend.
Right.
A business sponsor, a company sponsor, somebody who is going to say yes, they're going to come and work under me or for me, or they're going to work for themselves, but they're going to work under my thing or whatever. They have the facility for you to go work at.
Exactly.
Because you're looking at it for doing custom fancy grooming, right?
Yeah. That's really like,
because she used to be a celebrity groomer.
Time ago.
Yeah. So
but that's it. But yeah, that's like something that, and plus we just, we like to travel and see other places, and now I'm like, I want to go really experience other countries, because
I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I know this sounds like so far-fetched out there, but hear me out for a second. You guys should buy an ambulance. Make it into a living quarters / grooming van, and go
and ship it overseas,
over, and just be a traveling
That's
gourmet
wild.
groomer.
That's wild, because someone reached out to me.
Traveling gourmet groomer.
The other day, and from the Philippines, and they were like, if you were mobile, you would be
I'm
rich.
not kidding.
And I'm like, how? And they're like, there's so many Americans that live here, number one. Number two, that service is not yet widely available. It's an untouched market. And I'm like,
and you look at our ambulance. Look at our ambulance. And you buy a Class C motorhome.
Yes.
A Class C motorhome, correct, brand new, is $100,000+.
Yeah.
Not so much brand new, used. You're still talking $50,000 to $80,000 if it's in good quality condition. You can buy one for $4,000 and spend $15,000 remodeling it.
Right.
And do it yourself.
Right,
do you have the time or energy or want to do that?
No.
So when we got ours, initially we were going to gut it and remodel the whole inside.
Okay.
Well, once we got it and we're sitting there and we're looking at it, we're like, why? That's stupid. Like that's like you can decorate it, you can add things to make it better, But why gut something that's already in really great condition? Like ours is in really good condition. And
make it
we can make it functional and prettier by where the countertops are, taking off the ugly styrofoam or rubber matting, take that off, put some nice wood trim work and paint, and put, take the countertop off and put like a live edge wood countertop, put a sink in it. And all you have for it to legally be registered as an RV is it has to have a cooking apparatus, a sink, and a toilet. Does not have to have a shower. But I'm pushing for having a shower.
Right. I don't blame you.
I want the shower.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're off grid, you put solar up on top.
Yes.
But these are rugged already. So they're built rugged.
Yes.
To go into other areas. They have umpteen power.
Yeah, true.
They already have massive amounts of power to run the equipment that you would need to run.
For sure.
Like ours is a cardiac unit. Ours is a rescue.
Oh, okay.
So it's an ALS unit. So it's meant for cardiac. We have a cardiac jump seat. So they call like the jump seat where the medic just sits. So I'm a former paramedic, so I can explain some of this. But if you sit in that back jump seat, you're looking back. It's where you do your paperwork. It has a pull-out little desk, and you can write on it. I'm going to make that the silverware drawer with a cutting board on top.
Super.
But like you would deal with your patient. Then you have the bench where you might have to jump over to that bench to get an IV or do whatever. But that other jump seat is the cardiac jump seat. So the paramedic, if this is a cardiac patient, the paramedic would sit in that jump seat the entire time.
Yes.
And he has his EKG machine on the table right next to him. Otherwise, it's just another counter.
Right.
So I'm like, well, we just leave that and continue our counter along, keep it the same way. That way, if we have somebody in there that wants to come and hang out with us, just pop it back up like you normally would.
Yeah.
And there's an extra chair. And the backwards jump seat, take that out, and we're going to put the swiveling comfortable chair that you would have in an RV.
Okay.
And you go down and find one of those places that has the wreckage, and you can pull shit out of them. Go find a wrecked RV and pull their seat out and mount it. Like it's not that fucking hard.
Yeah, true.
And you go down and you buy, instead of building, we're gonna buy a they're not a day bed, they're the futon. But they have some pretty nice looking futons now.
Yeah, they
do.
So
buy one of those. It's a really nice looking one. Mount it there because there's a bench right where the seat is. So if you folded it up, you could get in the bench where you could have storage. Like all of it's there. You can just make it look nicer and put some flooring. The bar that's up on top, I'm like, I want to keep the bar. It's kind of cool. But if I'm back there making a sandwich while you're driving, I have something to hold on to. I'm like, I'm not going to kid you. I have climbing gear because I used to climb.
Oh my gosh.
Like I could literally put a harness on and hook myself to it with my health issues.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like it's a medically.
It would help stabilize
It would help stabilize me if I was back there standing, because then I have use of my hands, and that would keep me from falling over and hitting my head.
Yep.
And I have all the equipment. So, like, it wouldn't be that hard to just walk back there, have it already, when we're traveling, have it hooked up, and all I have to do is pull it down, get into it, and I have good ones.
Idea.
So I don't have ones that I have to tie all up. And I have good, fancy, expensive. I mean, shit, I've paid thousands of dollars for this equipment.
That's not cheap.
And it's too old to use anymore.
Gotcha.
It's going to be out of date.
Yes.
Because they are dated, not to use after a certain point. They do wear out.
They do.
So I would not sell this to anyone.
Right.
Because I would be worried about somebody taking my harness or my ropes or anything and
getting sued
getting
later.
hurt. Yeah. So I would never sell this stuff, but it would be something that I could utilize.
Yes, for sure. For your own self in a situation like that. Yeah. You're not dangling off a cliff. You're just riding around.
Yeah,
Try not to fall.
use things to our best of our
Yes.
and the netting that's there when you walk in the door. Like I'm going to use that for where we're going to put patches from other military or whatever, and hook them to it because it's a great place to have them as a visual,
right?
But I still like it. It's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
And I think part of it's also because both of us were in EMS, and if my husband wasn't and I wasn't, we would probably be like a lot of the other people who have bought them and just gut the whole thing and just build it as a Class C.
Right.
But because we both were, like, I like it. I've even said, somebody asked if we're going to take the Star Life off of there. And I said, no, because I earned that. So I am going to keep that on there. And if somebody says something, then go fuck off because I worked really hard to get that. So I'm going to leave it on the rig because I want it to stay on the rig.
Sure.
So for you guys,
personal thing.
Same thing. Look at all that cabinetry in there.
I know.
And
I never even considered
and
that.
Taking a spot, that like the cabinet that has all the backboards. Now, that's on the outside. You have to open the cabinet to get to the backboards. But if you thought about it and you took that cabinet, cut out the inside, because the cabinet's still there, it just doesn't have a door.
Right.
You cut that cabinet out. You take out the slats for the backboards. You're doing dogs. You don't need a backboard.
No.
And then you mount a fold-down table.
So, yeah. Like a Murphy table.
Yeah. A Murphy hydraulic table.
Yes.
And you just open that cabinet. It comes down. You still have the hydraulics and you have your grooming station right there. You have that cabinetry right there for all your equipment. Because I'm not being an asshole in any way, but being a groomer, there's a lot of equipment, but there's also a lot of equipment that you don't need. You don't need like a wedding planner. You don't need tables and chairs and centerpieces, and you couldn't do a mobile wedding planner in that.
Right.
Like you would have nowhere to put your clothes.
Right.
You would have nowhere to have anything.
Exactly.
But for a groomer, you could have that one section right there. That's all grooming equipment, and this is all our personal and our kitchen equipment. And
that's genius.
I mean, there's ways. It would be, and it would technically be cheaper for you guys because then you don't have to rent a place to live over there.
Exactly.
You just have a living / business, and
there's opportunity. Like I'm finding that some of the jobs that are available, like they will also house you.
They will provide a housing.
Like I'm blown away by some of the things I'm discovering. But there's also another thing, part of like in some countries, if you want a work visa or a professional level type visa to go there and work, you have to have a minimum bachelor's degree. Minimum. Like that's and it not necessarily in the field you're trying to work in.
But in anything.
You have to hold a bachelor's degree.
So for all those liberal woke people that have their basket weaving, they have their basket weaving degree and are complaining that we can't get a job because I have a degree. That's why I need my... Well, because you got your job in women's studies and no one's hiring. That's why you can't get a job.
That is a legit American job, period.
But you want to go overseas somewhere to, you want to leave this country because we're all so horrible. You're not leaving for that reason. Well, half of that reason. Yeah. But for those saying I'm leaving the country and I can't get a job here, I have my degree, I went to college, but I can't get a job. Well, that's because you got your degree in bananas,
right?
So maybe that's why you can't get a job because there's no jobs in the field that you took your studies in,
right?
Wokeology, and you have a bachelor's degree in wokeology. There's probably not a whole lot of people hiring for that. For one, they can't meet your criteria,
right?
Because your criteria is I can't work I can't work
I can't
until
work
after
5 out of
11.
the 7 days a week.
I can't work 5 days a week. I have to work. They want to do Biden hours. I can't come in till 11, but I want to leave by 4. And if I have an emotional breakdown, I need a woke room that I can go cry in. And you need a therapist on staff for my, for when I need my diaper changed. So the fact that most businesses can't meet your criteria is also why you can't have a job. Oh, and wait a minute. You're a new entry. Even with your degree, you're a new entry, but you think you deserve more money than the CEO. That's also part of the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is that. I'm just
There's
saying.
that inequality.
Oh my God. You don't have to work up to it or anything.
No, you don't have to earn anything. You just show up breathing.
Like, I used to get super mad when I was watching all these debates about paying, hamburger flippers, 15, 20, $30 an hour is what they deserve. I'm like, as a paramedic, you get like 18, maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
If you look.
I think I looked here, and I think the highest one was like $15 an hour. I'm like, they don't get paid shit.
Nope.
The schooling for that's expensive.
Yes.
And you have to put a lot of time and energy and effort into getting educated to do that. Plus, you have to continue with your maintenance of your stuff all year long. You have to have so many credits and they're not like go to college credits, but you have to do refresher courses. You have to
continuing
do continuing education stuff. And you're not. No one's paying for that for you.
No.
My fire department did. The one that I did work for years ago. Like if you were, they kept our records. Okay. And they were like, okay, you're due for, you need an ALS refresher.
Right.
I
teach those. So yeah, that's legit.
Most of those were, if you walked in and you were a seasoned paramedic or a seasoned whatever, you come in, you walk up and talk to the teacher. She has your thing. She knows your season. She'd be like, okay, do the final.
Yeah.
Perform.
Yeah,
Show me
you're good.
I'm not saying a word. If I have to correct anything you're doing, you're sitting down with the class.
Exactly. Yes.
And we had in Arizona, we used to have continuing education, like a conference kind of thing, but it was all outdoors and it was booths.
Okay.
And we'd have it at like Lake Mead or whatever. Okay. And they were booths. And you had your ALS, your BLS, your PALS, all the different ones.
Yeah.
Extrication. There'd be a car out there. All the different types of things. And you went with your chit and you went from booth to booth and you performed. And if you didn't pass, some of them you got 3 tries. Okay. The more serious ones like ALS, PALS, you only got 1 shot.
Gotcha.
Like you should have your skills still up because dealing with an infant, trying to put a trach or something in an infant, and the infant one is even just stabbing the when you have to stab the baby in the leg. Oh my God. That was the first time I ever had to do that. It's a dummy. It's not a real baby. And I would go, like, I couldn't stab a fake baby in the leg because I'm imagining that is like so painful. And it hurt my leg just coming at it. And then finally I was like, okay, talk yourself through this. It's a fucking fake baby. Like, I'm not stabbing a real baby. So I finally did. And one of my classmates goes, ah! I jumped about 4 feet. Like, it was pretty hilarious. And,
oh my gosh.
Oh, it's pretty crazy. But I mean, that's like a cardiac event for an infant.
Right.
Right. I mean, like, I'm not explaining this right to people.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
Every call we have with a little tiny baby is
They don't
stab them.
Yeah, so I guess you should clarify that. 'Cause please don't be afraid to call 911 if you have any sort of emergency with your infant based on that, because
We do not just
chances are they're not going to get stabbed in the leg. And we can laugh at this because we're EMS.
And it's like and you know what I'm talking about, because there's even when you're the CPR, I never got like a emotional thing with those dummies. I never went like, oh John, please survive.
Some people do.
Yeah, some people do, but I mean most of the time for them though, it was because you only have a torso.
No, true.
With the infant ones, they're a full baby.
It's a foot, right, and their arms move and their heads go,
Because you got to put the head back, you got to check all the things. But it's like, and they have the newborn infant ones.
Yes, the noodly ones.
They're like a bobbly
super
head.
noodles. Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty. I'm dizzy now. But it's pretty funny because you're trying to stabilize this choking, dying baby.
Right.
And those you can stick your finger in.
Yeah, you can.
Because most of them don't have teeth. But the torsoed ones, not so much.
Yes.
Now the problem is, quite often with those booths, there was also the beer booths. So we always said, like, the ones that you can only try once, don't do that after the beer. Go do those
Hit those first, right when you get there.
Before you go to the beer booths, go do the PALS and the ALS one. Do those first.
Oh my god!
And if you're not already certified in them, you cannot get your mark off.
Gotcha.
Like, you couldn't go get your PALS or your ALS
the first time
if you had never done the course. Yeah. This has to be for your
research.
For your research.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty fun. You got to meet some pretty cool people.
Yeah.
Because it was fire departments and medical people from all over the country would come to this thing.
How cool.
Like from New York.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And our deal was we all brought 2 or 3 of our shirts from our fire department, and we traded them with each other.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
Because I have one from New York Fire
I've got
Department.
New Jersey. I've got Eagle Rock, California. I've got New York.
I do wonder. I've always wondered, because I don't remember the guy's name that was from New York because it was so long ago. But it was pre 911, and I don't mean dispatch, but I have always wondered about him. Like, was he on one of the crews that perished in 9/11? Anyway, we're kind of off track.
I know.
I mean, it still fits into the thing of leaving the country and the people that come into this country. I am for that H-1B or whatever it's called, because I think they should, if we're going to bring people in, let's do the same thing as what you're talking about. Show that you have the money to cover yourself. You should never be allowed to come into this country from the get-go needing welfare.
Oh my gosh, that's another point I want to make. When you move to another country, you have to also provide your own health care insurance.
Right, because you're not
eligible
a citizen
to get their insurance at all.
Now you can eventually if you give up your American citizenship, unless you're eligible for dual citizenship. And let me clarify that with most people. In order to be eligible for dual citizenship, you have to prove 1,000% heritage.
Exactly.
Within, I think it's 2 generations. in most of those
Yes.
countries.
Yes.
In order to qualify for dual
Absolutely.
citizenship. Like
And there's
your
countries that-
grandmother had to have come from
Yes.
that country.
Yes.
That's
your parents or your grandparents. After that, it doesn't matter.
after that.
And-
Doesn't matter if your great grandmother twice removed
No,
was
doesn't matter.
no.
It's a cool story, bro, but it means nothing in the big picture.
Like I tell when I do my comedy. So my family heritage on my English side goes all the way back to Queen Victoria, and my great whatever grandmother or whatever I think she's grandmother was a lady in waiting for the Queen.
Okay.
And I'm like, for all of you out there that don't understand what that means, it means she had just enough royal blood in her to wipe her ass.
Pretty much.
That's it. She didn't. She would never
Hold
ever
the tissue while she's fucking blowing her nose in it.
Yeah, exactly. Like she was not there.
Yeah.
And they were definitely not treated royal
No.
because they were
indentured.
They were indentured, but they
but-
still had royal blood.
Yeah.
Because even the people that worked for them had to have a royal lineage, which is nuts.
That is
to
nuts.
me. That's not the same today,
No,
but back in the day,
it was that way.
that was the way it was. So kind of crazy. But, you go to these other countries and follow what their rules and regulations are, and then you want to say that we should just have open borders. I don't think so. That's why we have now what looks to me like bombings happening, red flag events.
Yes.
I think there's more to
Yes.
come.
Yes,
I think this
too.
is just the beginning.
Me too.
Because I think they're all sleeper cells.
And I've been saying that for
I've been
a
saying it for
long
years.
time.
I said 9/11. I said people need to understand
that was popping the top off.
9/11 happened in 2001. It was shy of 10 years from the time they tried before.
Yes.
Because they tried it in 1993.
Yes.
And then they did it again in 2001. It took them that long to come up with a plan, get the people, implement them, and the people that did it were sleeper cells. They were going to school. My mom was a pilot. My mom was an instructor pilot. I asked her way back then when this first happened, I said, if you had a student that came in and said, I just want to learn how to land or take off, because they didn't want to learn how to land. They just wanted to learn how to take off. What would you have said to them? She would have said, okay, that's going to cost you extra. And then she said, I would have called the authorities.
Right.
I would have called somebody
Absolutely.
and said, I don't understand why this, because landing's more important than taking off. It's easy to take off. It's landing that's difficult.
Yeah.
So why would you not
want to know that part?
want to know how
yes.
and why would you tell an instructor that?
Yes. Yes. That's the thing,
And
too.
from what I understand, there was several instructors that
probably did say something.
turned them down.
Oh.
And reports later were that they reported it. So, because they thought, this seems weird. Like,
Yeah.
why would you just want to learn how to take off? And so many of them, they were like, no, you have to do my ground course, and then you have to do this, and it's a process.
process.
I'm not
Yep.
just going to teach you how to take off in a plane.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there was an instructor that and I don't know all the details, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember reading about one guy that did call and he did turn it in. I think it might have been after the fact that he had been approached and the person offered him an astronomical amount of money
I remember
to do that.
Yes.
And he still turned him down and
Yes.
said, there's something fishy about this. And then he had turned it in. He called somebody, he called some authority out there, and they just ignored it. Or they put it in their little folder. And that's part of the problem. And that's why I think sometimes it's not the conspiracy part of it. It's the lack of communication in our agencies.
Yes.
Like if you call the FBI for something and they're like, I don't see that as a problem.
Yes.
Do they call Homeland Security and say, I don't think this is a problem, but what do you think? No, there's so much rivalry between the departments that this is my call. This is my call. This is mine. And they don't communicate with each other. You know, NSA does not call the FBI and say, you know, this doesn't seem like an NSA thing, but maybe this is something you guys want to. They don't do that. The interdepartmental communication is pretty much none. They're like, oh, I'm not listening to anything you have to say. You work for the NSA. You don't work for the FBI. But I work for the NSA. I don't work for the FBI, so I don't have to share shit with you. I mean, it's that rivalry.
Well, fuck all y'all. I'm CIA. Like, yeah, like it's so. Like that's what I see.
I'm Secret Service, so I better know you.
Like, what?
Well, not right now. Kind of mud in that area.
Yeah.
You know, but they all are like that. That I work for the and
yes.
and I will never disparage on the federal marshals because my son is one. So I won't disparage on them, but it's probably very similar. We're federal marshals. We're this. We're this. We're this. We're this. You know. And it kind of is like, you know, if they all talked to each other and communicated when they thought there was something that seemed a little, this seems out of the ordinary, this seems wrong. If they communicated that, maybe we could stop some of these things prior to them happening, or we could find out what actually caused it.
Yes.
And when there are 1 million American people out there going, we see this like we're all doing right now. How can you 100% discern that the guy shot himself in that vehicle right before the bomb went off because he got in, he said it, he started going, and then he shot himself, and then it continued, stopped, and blew up? How do you how can you 1,000% discern that that is the chain of events? You can't. You can say that, but like the rest of us, I'm speculating that he is and not a patsy that chose to be one. I think he was kidnapped, he was taken, and he was forced in there. They shot him somewhere probably else, because I bet you if you got legit forensics people, there's probably none of his blood in there. Because he probably died in another place. He was put in there, and it may have been moments before they put him in the vehicle, but they killed him. They needed someone, so it looks like an army soldier did it.
Yes.
And not a Islamic terrorist.
Same with the New Orleans.
Same with the New Orleans.
Same.
And the cops went right straight to hiding the ISIS flag.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work anymore because there's 50 gazillion people out there with this.
Yes.
And
and the buildings that had the cameras facing the roads and
well, the government can control that because they can take them and oops, there was no footage. But these, very difficult too. And what they have learned also with these that is hurting their narratives is 90% of people now have cloud storage. It might be here, but it's already on my computer.
Right.
So when you get my phone back, because this happened in the Boston bombing, it happened in, what was the Vegas one? The Vegas shooting.
Okay.
People got their phones back with their content erased.
Wow.
From the event.
Wow.
Like they took it, they confiscated it, then they removed that evidence off of there. You know, plug it in, download it, take that off, but then they deleted it from their device.
So why were they giving up their phones?
Because they were evidence. They had footage, so they were like, anybody who has footage, you know, share your, and people are wanting.
Is it voluntary or is it mandatory?
Sometimes they just take, if they knew you were, they saw you with it, they took them.
How is that constitutional?
I don't believe it is, but they would. But same thing with the Trump shooting.
Rabbit hole.
Same thing. A lot of other people, like had footage, so they took them. I don't know as much information about that, but I bet you the same thing happened where people got their phones back with stuff wiped off of it. But what they didn't count on, and I know this in the Trump shooting, and I know this in the Vegas one, because there was people, because I had a good friend that was actually performing there that night. And I mean, I was immediately texting her, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Well, I already did my thing." And then we left and went to this other bar. So she had left like maybe 10 minutes before the shooting happened. So she had left just before Aldine came on. And I was like, "Oh God, thank God you're okay." I mean, I'm sad for everyone else there, but the trajectories were not right. Like, people were claiming they heard different gunfire.
Right. Yes.
There was people running, and it sounded and felt like there was somebody in the crowd actually shooting. And some of the ways that injuries happened couldn't have gone around this building to get there from where it supposedly. And then people who had video, and they're like, "Look at the suppression fire, it's up there, and there's some over here." And then other people who were weapons experts were coming on saying, I can identify this weapon, and this weapon. So there's no way that person was shooting the same weapon at the same time, unless he's an octopus. Wild West octopus, like, so.
But for all the people that have never held a weapon in their hands, right?
Yeah.
And who don't understand all that, they're like, "Oh no." I mean, of course, all the shooters are running around and they just all pop out with their go-go gadget arms full of all the calibers. All the calibers were going at one time. Like, that's so stupid.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
And like one injury was kind of up into the lady's belly, and they were claiming it was from a ricochet. I know it could ricochet off of a garbage dumpster. It's not going to ricochet off asphalt.
Of the ground.
No.
Yeah, no,
it would
there's
penetrate
no way.
the ground. So, and so there's a lot of like crazy shit. But I knew people that same thing with the January 6th. Phones that were confiscated, got them back with stuff removed.
Jeez.
And some of that evidence took a lot before it got through to prove the videos, to prove that certain people were involved. And a lot of it was because backup. They couldn't hide the backups because when they got their phones back, the people that did get their phones back and their shit was wiped, they didn't say, "Oh, well, I have this one. Did you need to erase this one too?" No, they posted them publicly. They're like, "Oh, they erased my phone, so here's this."
Yeah.
And I know a few people that happened to, that shortly after they posted their public thing, it got removed from the social media site they posted it to, and then that person was arrested for being involved. And they weren't before they released the footage.
Wow.
So it's like, you have to start. It's a very fine surgical procedure of weaving the needle through, and pulling it tight, tying it, then finding the next one, and then pulling that tight. That's how you find all the different elements that make it into a conspiracy. And this, I think, is going to be another one that's going to be very similar to that, because you're already seeing it coming out. And there's now been 3. New York, NOLA, and
Nevada,
and Vegas. So you have, and they went after the Trump Hotel in Vegas. They went to a widely public celebration in NOLA, and a widely public celebration in New York.
Oh.
So you got to wonder if this is truly insurgent type things, it's sleeper cells, or is this a coordinated attack to make us scared because they know we're not going to fall for another pandemic.
See, and that's what's so hard too, is because like they're using things, they're taking truthful pieces and intertwining it with all the bullshit. Like I can speak about, or a little bit anyway, about like the bird flu thing, right?
Right.
Well, there's so many people out there that are denying. They're like, oh, the bird flu's bullshit. It doesn't even exist. Blah, 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 blah. It's just another scare tactic. And I'm like, okay, well, I happen to be in the poultry world somewhat. And so because I try to do everything legit and above board and make sure that I have all my I's dotted and my T's crossed as far as like not having the government show up at my door and wonder what I'm doing, there are certain procedures in place. So if you want to show chickens or sell baby chicks or sell eggs, you have to go through the...
Ooh, can I buy eggs from you?
Sure. Yeah. You sure can. I'll just bring you some.
I like fresh eggs. They're
I'll
so
bring
much
you
better
some.
than that shit injected with things at the store.
No, mine aren't. They're not going to be washed,
And let them
refrigerated,
lie to you and
nothing.
say they don't inject those eggs with preservatives, because
Yeah, they
they
absolutely do.
That number of eggs sitting on a shelf would last like a couple days,
Probably.
and then they'd be got to trash them all, because every 2 days they don't deplete.
No.
So they're injecting a little needle, and the way egg shells are and the internal part of an egg, you can inject a tiny little needle in there and it heals itself.
Yes.
It will seal itself.
So, yeah, like, anyway, that's why we have chickens, so we can eat our own eggs and know
Just
what's
putting
going
that out
into
there.
them or not going into them. But
Exactly.
But there's the NPIP program, is the National Poultry Improvement Plan. And so if you want to sell eggs, sell chicks, sell chickens, show chickens, whatever, you have to be part of this program. And it's through the Department of Agriculture, whatever. It's a government agency. But like when all this bird flu came out and people that feed their dogs raw diets, they're asking on social media, is there something to be worried about? Should I worry about this raw poultry that I'm going to be feeding my dogs? And how do I know it's safe? And that's a legitimate question, right?
Right.
And so I'm like, so I've gone on and I've left comments about, you really need, because people are like, oh, it's just a scare tactic. Turn the news off. Don't watch it. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, whoa.
Well, there's truth to some of the scare tactics.
The number one conspiracy girl. Like, I'm always looking for the holes in the story.
But there's truth to the conspiracy.
But there's truth. There is absolutely
like
avian
COVID
influenza.
was a pandemic.
Yes. It
but
doesn't
people
mean
legitimately
COVID didn't
got sick.
Yes.
And people legitimately had
Yes.
COVID, I being one of
Me
them.
too.
I got it like 5 fucking times. I think I've gotten every strain
I
out
had
there.
COVID before COVID was
I'm
COVID.
sure I had it before.
I had it in October, November of 2019.
Yeah.
And they didn't even say anything about it until March of the following year.
Yeah.
And that is the sickest I have ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't take flu shots. I've never had a flu shot ever in my life. I stopped
I'm
at
one
my
of those-
childhood immunizations. That's it. I've never had another shot.
I'm one of those that, like when I was in the Army, I had the chit to not have to get the flu shot because I got the flu shot and I would get sicker than dog shit. And I'm one of those people that if you have it, please don't come to my house because I will get it. It doesn't matter what it is. I get it. I'm shocked. I know the only reason I didn't get sick when Steve was sick for 3 weeks is because he was gone. He was traveling and he was gone. He was only home for like 1 day and we stayed away from each other.
Gotcha.
Like I didn't let him kiss me hello. I didn't let him hug me. He brought some shit in and we didn't touch. I slept on the chair in the living room because I didn't want to. And it's nothing against my husband, but he knows if you have it, I will get it. It doesn't.
You're susceptible.
I'm so susceptible to getting things from people. If you stub your toe, I will probably get it. like that's how susceptible I am.
Oh my God.
And I'm highly allergic to venom. So I've heard that this is a common thing with people that are highly allergic to venom. It's because and that will cause them, they have a weak immune system because the reason the things bite you so much is because you have bad blood. You have something is wrong with your body, your system. So
okay.
they are attracted to you're already, the worms crawl in, the worms crawl out. They already see you as dying.
Okay,
You're
gotcha.
already that you need to be cleaned and eaten, and so you're still alive, but they're already attacking you because you set off some kind of smell or whatever that
Okay.
attracts
Okay.
them because you have something wrong with your system, your blood, your body, whatever. So I'm highly allergic, and it's not really an allergy after I did the research.
Gotcha.
It's because I have something wrong with me. And so because of that, I have a very weak immune system. So like I said, if you stub your toe, I will probably get it, and you'll come in the next day like, what's wrong with your foot? But I'll be like, well, you stubbed your toe yesterday and you came to my house and now my toe is like this big and red and puffy. And if I squeeze it, it'll probably pop, I mean, like, it's a sad, sad state of affairs. That's all I can say. But I'm going to end this with what my grandma said many years ago. Believe nothing that you
Only
hear.
half of what you hear, and none of what you hear, and half
of what you
see.
read, or half of what you see, and
now I can't remember how it goes.
Okay, now I have to look it up because I want to know what it actually says. Because my grandmother said it because she said your grandfather used to say it.
See, now, it was hear, read, and see.
Hear, read, not rest. Okay. Wow. I don't know. Maybe you can Google it because I said believe, hear, read, see.
Oh.
And it's literally coming up with nonsense. We remember 10% of what we read, misjudgment, why we trust. It doesn't even come up with that.
Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. Sopranos.
But it's,
what did Tony have to say about it?
But there was a saying with that was about believe nothing you hear and only half of what you see, but there was something about reading too. Quote, believe nothing you hear and only half of what you see. See, because it's the
Benjamin Franklin. It's a quote from Benjamin Franklin. Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see.
But there's a more to it that is about, because remember the three monkeys.
Oh, believe nothing that you hear, nothing that you read, and only half of what you see.
Okay. Because I was like, there's something about
the reading part.
Because
yes,
it's the ears, the
eyes, and the mouth.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And it's very true.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's so much information out there that it's overwhelming.
Yes.
But before you speak, research. Like, I get really upset when I'm in some of my groups that I am part of, and they're spreading false information. They're spreading, this picture of so-and-so. I'm like, it's Photoshopped. Like, do a little research. Find out before you continue to spread nonsense.
Exactly.
Find out if it's legitimate. Find out if it's true. The same thing with what they're doing right now with Vivek and Musk.
Yes.
Like, first of all, let's all let Trump actually take office and start doing things before we start saying, look, they're already not doing this. How is he not doing anything when he's not in
They're
office
not even
yet?
in there yet. They really technically can't do anything. Like
they
until
legitimately cannot make any
can't.
policy changes.
They can't.
They can't fix anything. And it goes on the other side too, saying that he's already taking away their rights.
Well, yeah, what do you mean?
How? He's not even in office yet, so he hasn't taken away any rights.
But you better be watching what the dude who has another 17 days is doing, and what he's going to do
16 days and a wake up.
Yeah, yay! No, but I mean, what's he going to do with this time? What is he doing now?
Look at the people he just pardoned.
Three people are still on death row, and everybody else is
and these are vile, horrible creatures, and there's rumors out there that he might pardon the guy that was just convicted of the
CEO,
the gal's murder, the illegal immigrant that
what's her name?
Illegal alien that what is her name?
Lynn starts with an L. Oh, Lainey.
Lindsay.
Or Lindsay.
I feel so bad. No. I feel so bad.
There's so many.
Well, there's so many. And I have talked about many of them. But he's the one that just got convicted. And there's a rumor mill going around right now. And I think it's starting from the conspiracy side of the house that he's going to pardon him. He might. He might at the nth hour. But if he does, it's his literally fuck all of you on the way out the door. But I think, some of the things that we've seen is I think he voted for Trump. I personally do.
I do too, and I think Jill did.
I think Jill did too. She wore a red suit. Why would you wear a red suit when you're a blue? Hello. I'm sorry, but I just don't buy some of the bullshit.
Me too.
And I'm going to say one last thing as I walk out this door. To you, StreamYard, that is who I use. You're fucking fucked up because you just more than doubled. Like my yearly fee is come in February 1st. I have to repay my year. Mm-hmm. I usually pay about $380, $370 a year for my streaming service for my shows. Mm-hmm. And my new bill is $827. And I'm like, I will be seeking elsewhere.
Oh my God.
And when you go on to cancel, like a lot of other subscriptions you go on to cancel, they say, okay, if you cancel today, you still have 27 days left.
Yeah.
No, it says that you have 27 days left. You'll lose everything if you're sure you want to cancel now.
Oh my God.
And it's like, okay, I'm just trying to preemptive do it before you bill me.
Yeah.
And take the money out of my account because like I can't afford that. Like, I will seek elsewhere.
That's ridiculous.
I'm not going to pay and it was because the company was sold to someone else and they saw it as a cha-ching. Mm-hmm. We're just going to raise everybody's bill. What's going to happen is everybody's leaving them.
Yeah.
Because you can look up all their, on social media, price hike. Or on YouTube, price hike, and there's video after video after video, and they're telling you what other ones to go to instead, and what's going to happen and it's going to take probably 6 months to a year, because when everybody's come due, because I pay all my stuff for the year. I don't like having a monthly payment because if I'm having a struggling month with my business, it's already paid for.
Exactly.
I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
For at least whatever months.
Right.
So I always pay all my subscriptions at one time. Mm-hmm. Well, all the people that are going to be bailing ship are not all going to bail at the same time either. Because everybody didn't start at the same time.
Exactly.
The people who've already started bailing on them are the people that are still paying on a month-to-month basis. Mm-hmm. And they're going elsewhere. Mm-hmm. The people like me who are still on there are because they already paid for the year. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I believe anybody who's on there, if they want to raise those prices, then they should raise them for new people coming on, and they should grandfather old people into their old price, or at least a very small raise.
Increase.
But I mean, the increase was
more than double.
Than double.
That's crazy.
To me, that's ridiculous, and I'm not going to. Not going to continue with them. I will find elsewhere. I've been already researching it. So I just want to say. Kind of pissed me off, and I've known this for a little while, so but I have until the end of January to find another one and learn how to use it. That's the issue. I've been with StreamYard since their inception. I've been with StreamYard for many, many, many years. So it really pisses me off that people that have been with them since the beginning are not have some kind of grandfathered. Because even mine was like, it was like $360, $370 a year or something like that. Mm-hmm. And for most other people, it was over $400 because I got the lower price because I got the price that I had already started.
Yeah.
And then this is their second selling. Wow. The first time they sold, the new people left it as is. They didn't change anything.
Wow.
They also didn't make a lot of improvements. Now, there have been some improvements, but there haven't been enough improvements to make it worthwhile to stay. Not at all. There's not enough integration and enough other things. Like, I can take phone calls if somebody wants to call into the show, but it's because of my hardware that I have here, not because of them.
Gotcha.
Because you can't call into StreamYard. You can call
in. Okay.
You can call. I can give my number out, and I can hook it to my software.
Right.
My hardware, I should say.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Some of the other ones have that integration. along with other stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to go elsewhere. The one I want the most means I have to buy a whole new computer because it's only Apple based.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not going to. I mean, this is a fairly new computer, so I'm not going to no. Sorry, not going to do that. Anyway, I'm going to end this with my little quote. Okay. I'm not going to read this because we're so late today. Okay. But wake up, kick ass, repeat.
Yes.
That is your quote. That comes out of my little box of motivational shit because we all need a kick in the ass sometimes.
Yes.
So, and I think we all do. We all need these reminders sometimes, and sometimes they have to come in the form of a kick in the ass.
That's right.
But anyway, we will be back here Monday. I don't know who will be here. It depends. And I do want to say heart out to Christy. She's sick today.
Yeah, I feel better.
I feel better. We missed you, but we love you. Get better.
Yes.
And for everyone else that is no longer on the show, I wish them all well. And I hope that if they're dealing with health issues that they do better and loss and all that stuff. But remember, we will be here Monday. I will be here on time, provided that I don't have a glitch issue. But 10 to 11:30, Monday through Friday. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe on all of our socials and our YouTube channel. We really need to get some numbers going up there, please.
For sure.
And remember, it's all Girl Talks, GURLTAUX, not toe. That's for you, Logan. All right.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Enjoy your new year.
Yes.
And may you not be blown up.